Hello, YouTube. Hello, chat. I hope everybody's having a good evening, morning. Uh, I'm here joined by Wakizashi Teahouse, and we're going to talk about the Seven Samurai and Magnificent Seven, two great movies. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
Hey, Jacob, nice to be here. Good morning from Japan. It's Saturday morning here. Nice day by the look of it. And yeah, looking forward to talking some samurai and cowboy movies.
Yes. Uh, I have. Let me pull up something here. Still working through the kinks. I thought I had worked it all out.
I'm the same, mate. I've been doing it for 6 months, live streaming. I still don't know what I'm doing.
Thought we'd start with watching the trailer.
Okay, cool.
Share screen. Okay. Alrighty, here we go.
I still can't quite believe this was made in 1954. That blew my mind when I was checking it up.
Sorry, I was muted. What did? What were you saying?
Just saying, I can't believe it was made in 1954. Jacob, how about you? It's just unbelievable how well it
Yeah,
holds up.
yeah. It held up pretty good. Uh,
Mm.
and two, after it was like 10 years after World War II.
Mm.
Too. It's. I'm sure there wasn't a lot of, at least early on, wasn't a lot of. What's the word? Goodwill, maybe. Maybe there was. I don't know, but uh, yeah, but it was a great movie. The I think it showed a different side of Japan that people in the West didn't see. Uh, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, trying to think about it. I can't remember the first time I saw it, but it was very famous when I was growing up. Maybe mainly from the art house scene. You know, there was a big thing about showing Japanese movies and art house cinema in the UK. And I think I got to know Kurosawa through, was it Yojimbo first? That was the first movie I saw by
Yojimbo.
him. Yeah, which is a good samurai story. But yeah, mate, the thing that stood out for me is Toshiro Mifune. He just eats up the screen. He's unbelievable in this. His
Is that
performance.
the guy with the I forget the name of the sword, but that long sword, is that
Yeah, the
the
long
character?
one.
Yes,
He,
yes. He's. I watched a clip of a clipped video of his acting without saying anything, and he really emotes his character as he's acting. He's a really good actor, I think.
Part of the Japanese style is as you say, a lot is in facial expressions. I think that comes from the theatre or the kabuki theatre, where there is dialogue, of course, but they do so much with the faces, and you really see that, don't you, in this? Especially because it's so old. Maybe it's a little bit exaggerated. It's a bit over the top, but yeah,
Yeah, here, let me get a picture of him there,
there he
so
is. He's like the
people know who
drunken
we're talking
drunken
about.
samurai, the fool, the jester.
Yeah, right, right. And that clip I played at the beginning, has such he that seems like a samurai, walking out strutting, in front of the enemy.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, he's good. Uh, oh,
What did you think about his sword? Like, it was ridiculously long, wasn't it? I thought that was
yeah,
quite
yeah. I
funny. That was
forget
part
the
of his
name of
character.
it, but it's a that crazy long sword. Does it get broken? I
Oh
think he
God,
breaks it
I
as
can't
they're
remember.
fighting. But
Probably.
yeah, crazy long sword. Yeah, I wish I remembered the name of it though. Oh, I can't think of anything else. But
So
he was good too. Can't
yeah, he's I know the names. Don't worry about it, mate. I'm the same. I can't remember. I remember his name. It's Kanbei-san. He's kind of the old, mature, very calm, studied, samurai who's very smart, very clever. He basically plans the whole thing, doesn't he? The
Yeah,
defense of the
yeah.
village.
And he almost comes across in the beginning of it. He has a full head of hair, and this crazy person has abducted a child and is holding him hostage.
Mm.
And he shaves his head and dresses up like a monk and pretends to be a monk and goes in and takes the guy out.
I know, that was so cool. That was
Yeah.
to shave off the top knot. They call it
Oh
samurai top
yeah,
knot. That
yeah.
was a real, what do you call it?
That's a
It's almost like a disgraceful thing to do, but he did that to save the kid.
yeah, yeah. And to he's his character. He's sick of war.
Mm.
He's been involved in it so much and lost. And he says he's lost just about every battle he was in. His side lost.
Mm.
So he's tired of war. uh, yeah, and to work for food, for a samurai to work for food and not get paid or get any title with fighting.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's a good plot point, isn't it? The fact
yeah,
that they're
it is.
they're they're not doing it for money. Well, some of them want to. Some of them kind of half expecting they're going to get paid, but they're doing it just to get food, aren't they? To stay alive.
Yeah, yeah. And I forget where it's set. I think like in the early 1600s, right?
I think so. Yeah. All right, have a
Here,
quick check. Yeah.
let me quickly say hello to the chat real quick.
Yes.
Uh, First up, we got Stephen Ransom showing up. Hello there, Stephen. Then Shane Nolan. Hello, sir. How are you? Good to have you. Here you go. Nosferatu. Good evening. Who else we got here? Melvin Deeply. Hello. Good evening. Glad you could show up. Uh, and that's about it for right now. Okay. Where were we?
Jacob, good to see we got viewers from the UK and Ireland, Glasgow. I can't
Yeah.
believe it. It's very late over there, as far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Uh, did you have any more thoughts on his character?
I don't know the actor that well. Of course, he's already pretty old in this, but apparently he was one of Kurosawa's favourite actors to work with. And I don't know about you, Jacob. I haven't seen that many of his ordinary, his like drama movies. I've seen mainly his samurai movies. That's all.
Yeah, the only actor I was familiar with was him.
Mm.
So
Who's it? Toshiro Mifune. Great
yeah,
actor. Absolutely
yeah,
brilliant in this.
it seems to be very versatile in the
Mm.
clips I've seen of him. So yeah, and then you have the young guy looking for a master, and something interesting too. That this guy, he's a Ronin, meaning
Mm.
he doesn't have a master.
Mm. That's
And
right.
this young fella comes to him looking for him to be his master.
That's right. He wants to be his student, doesn't he? He wants to be trained by him.
Yeah. Uh, can't think of much to say about him
What did you think of
off the
his? I
bat.
mean, not just his, but the haircuts, the hairstyles are kind of weird, aren't they? Showing the shaved top of the head.
Yeah. Why did they shave just the top of the head?
I really don't know. I think that was just to do with is it to do with a sign of the class because it's a big class thing, isn't it? The samurai
Yeah.
with the family, the named families, the wealthy.
Yeah.
So,
I watched the Shogun.
mm,
Have you seen that movie?
I saw that when I was a kid. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Whoa, that was good. That was a pretty good show. For yeah, I think it even had what's his name in it? Didn't it have him in it?
Oh wow! It's years since I've seen it, so I can't remember, but probably did. And the book, by the way, Jacob, the book's amazing by James Clavell. Really good, but it's a big, thick book to
Oh,
get
okay.
through.
I'll have to check that out.
Mm,
Let's. I'm pulling him up on his IMDb page.
okay.
Lord Toranaga, I think
Okay, so he
was the
played the Lord.
character.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Because he was older,
Um,
wasn't he, Ben, when that came out? Mm.
let's see here. I'm just making sure. Hmm. That was in the 80s.
Mm.
Yeah, Shogun. Yep, came out in 1980.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was that
but
like
yeah,
was it a
that
TV
was another.
series or was it like TV movie? I
Yeah, it
can't
was a
remember.
mini series. It was a TV mini
Okay.
series. Yeah, but yeah.
Wow, Shane
Okay.
Nolan saying it's 56 hours on audiobook Shogun. That's that's a long one,
Oh
man.
wow, that's a long book. Wow, that's a long book.
Mm.
Okay. Sorry about that. So,
No, good.
yeah, then this guy comes up, and I love the way they got the young guy at the door with a stick, and he's gonna attack him as he comes in the door, and he stops short because he sees the young guy's shadow on the ground.
Mm. Mm.
That was good. Yeah, and then later they do it with him, and he's drunk. So his wits are, and he comes in the door and he just whacks him right over the head.
He just walks right into it, doesn't he? Yeah. Again,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
clown role, but he's so funny.
yeah, yeah.
How did you find did you catch any names? It's very difficult to get them, isn't it? I mean, I was watching it last night and in Japanese. I don't have English subtitles on it, so I was kind of like, wow. I had to check Wikipedia to get the names of them.
Oh, so you can understand Japanese pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's difficult though, especially this one because they're using older fashioned language. You know, that kind of period, very respectful language. So it's hard for me to get it, but I couldn't get some names, Jacob. I don't know about you. Just like, oh, the big one or the
And
funny one.
some of them I couldn't pronounce. So
No,
maybe if you
that's
could
it.
you could pull up the IMDb, maybe you could have better luck.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this guy's name. I think is it Gorobe? Was he the archer,
Yeah,
the one
something
who's
like
laughing a
that.
lot? Hmm.
Uh, I think so. It might have been.
Anyway, you don't have to worry about names. I don't know who this guy is either.
Yeah, he knows the older man, samurai.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and interesting. We'll get into that when we start talking about Magnificent Seven, but
Hmm.
about how they kind of in the Magnificent Seven they kind of jumble up the different aspects of the characters. Kind of interesting. Yeah,
I'd forgotten how long it was, Jacob. The movie. It's three and a half hours. The
yeah,
uncut
yeah,
version, isn't it? So,
yeah,
what did you think about that? About the running time? Because there's a lot of setup, isn't there? A lot of build up in the beginning.
yeah. I liked it. It attached you more to the characters. That long build
Mm.
up, I thought. Uh, yeah, there was something else about it. Yeah, it also has a intermission. It had an intermission.
Yeah, it did. They kept that in the one I watched last night. You know, the
Yeah, me
streaming
too.
one. They kept it in. It's like, oh, that's so
Yeah,
cool. Go and
yeah,
make a drink.
that's neat. Uh, yeah, I didn't see how long the intermission was though.
No, I can't remember. I think it might have been 10 minutes something, but
Yeah, it's
maybe not that
usually
long.
about that. Yeah, yeah. It's been a long time since there's been a movie with a intermission in it. Yeah, all the big ones that I can remember watching are Ben Hur and
Mm.
Ten Commandments. Those all those movies had big had intermissions in them.
I remember, is it Lawrence of Arabia? That's the one that sticks in my head. As that's got an intermission. That's a long movie too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now this guy was they ran across him chopping wood. I think.
Ah, okay. Yes. Where are we?
Yeah, and when he meets the older samurai, he says he comes from the school of chopping wood.
Yeah, they're asking which school did you train under? Which school? Which swords fighting school? Yeah, the school of chopping wood.
Yeah. This guy, the the guy that did the duel at the beginning, that was. Oh, I actually have a clip of that. Let me play that real quick.
Such a good scene. He's
Yeah.
a Kyuzo. That's all he's got. His name Kyuzo.
Okay. Yeah. That was a and two. First, they do it with bamboo
Mm.
sticks,
Yeah.
and the other guy says, "Oh, oh, shame! It was a tie." And the other guy says, "No, he lost." And
Mm.
the other guy gets all angry and demands that they do it with real swords. And it, of course, turned out with him getting killed.
There was
Yeah,
such a good build up, wasn't there? With that, the way they set the scene up, they were just kind of facing each other off for a while, and This guy here,
Yeah.
Kyuzo, the master swordsman, he's all he's doing is just changing his stance and he's waiting, he's watching, and the other guy just gets annoyed and he just charges at him as you just showed it.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
great scene.
Yeah. And two, with the bamboo, when they did it with the
Same.
bamboo, the sword stops. I mean, it stops because it's not a real sword, but with the sword, the draw through, he is actually out of the way of the other guy's sword. So
Yeah,
he did win. Yeah, that's all the slides I have.
that's all right. He was one of my favorite characters because
Yeah,
the way
me
he
too.
can played it was very understated, very quiet, very calm. But he was always
Yeah,
trying to
and
test himself, wasn't he? Trying to improve his skill.
but also not. He wasn't boastful or
No,
anything. He was just very. Uh, I wouldn't say shut off. Just he's not a boastful samurai. Which also too the scene where they're looking for other samurai, where they're trying to get other samurai. All the samurai walking through the streets. They're all strutting around, proud and showing off, kind of. You know. And it's funny you see the young guy that's wanting to be the uh, pupil. He's looking at all these samurai walking past, and they're like, "Oh, that one. What about that one?" And the old guy knows as soon as he sees one, knows what he's looking for. Yeah, that was good. And two, the I'll pull this picture up again real quick so we know who we're talking about. So after they get the samurai, they only have 6. So the old guy just decides, okay, we're going to go with 6. And this guy's following along behind them. They didn't pick him, and he's just following along behind them. That was a good part. I like that part where they just ignore him, thinking he'll just go away after a while. And then he shows up in front of them. And he's
he was
caught a
playing
bunch
it,
of fish or something.
wasn't he? He was
Go.
very what do you call it? The way he was playing it was being very obnoxious, very kind of showing off, like, but he's, oh, I don't need you, I don't, you need me more than that. But as you say, he was gradually just kind of working his way in with them. But Jacob, I heard when they were writing the movie, first of all, they were only going to have 6, and the Akira Kurosawa and the writer, they were both saying, no, it's too serious. We need another character. We need someone to kind of break, the seriousness of it and have some fun. So they brought in, I think he was going to play the skilled swordsman to begin with. So they made an extra character for him, like the clown, to have some levity, have some laughter.
Yeah, and that's something too about this movie. The characters aren't just surface level. They actually some of them get pretty deep with their background, or not their background, but their life, and it's really good. I like that. I liked that about it, that they weren't just a surface character.
That's right. They took the time to build them up, didn't they? As we were talking about, it is long. I know it's a long movie, and some people might complain about it, but that setup really pays off later because you
Yes,
just
it
know the
does.
characters. You don't need to know the names. You know them by their personality traits, don't you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's some. You got to have that. You have to have that in a movie. If you're, I mean, we've lost that nowadays with Hollywood movies. It's very rarely do we get a movie that has a good setup and payoff at the end. I mean, once in a blue moon, you'll get a good one.
Yeah. People are saying in the chat, of course, Kurosawa's movies, a lot of his movies influenced so many filmmakers, not only Magnificent Seven, which we're going to talk about later. But of course, George Lucas was hugely influenced by him, wasn't he, with Star Wars? That's just one.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Uh, the what the Jedi? Yeah, they he really did pull a lot from samurai
Mm,
from their clothes and some of the fighting styles too.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen any other. I probably have, and I just don't remember any other of Kurosawa's movies.
Mm,
I probably have. But, yeah. Uh, another thing, when they get to the village, all the people, they're all hiding because they're even scared of the samurai that they hired to come help them.
mm.
And somebody starts ringing the alarm bell, and everybody's, you know, running for the samurai for help, and they're wondering who did the alarm, and he comes out with it, hitting it, making fun of the villagers for being scared to come out until they think the bandits are coming, and they run for help from the samurai.
Mm, that's right. They're a little bit upset, aren't they? Because there's no one there to greet them, to welcome them. They're all, as you say, they're all terrified. They're all hiding. But that was
Yeah,
a great scene when it's him being the clown, bringing them all out.
yeah,
He's actually cleverer than he pretends, isn't he? He's a lot smarter
yeah,
than he makes
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. And
Let me
then
just checking his name because I just know the actor's name. It's Toshiro Mifune, but he's got a difficult name. His character is called Kikuchiyo. I can't even say it myself. Kikuchiyo. So
yeah, Ikuchio.
just call him Toshi. Toshi is awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
He was my favorite character, Jacob. I don't know about you. He's on fire in this movie. His performance
yeah,
is
yeah.
crazy.
And two,
So good.
on IMDb, they show the actors that are, uh, I guess, the top rated actors in the movie, and he's number one.
Mm,
So yeah, it's funny to see. I saw some clips of him with a like really clean shaven face. He looked like somebody from a like a 40s movie, like
oh
like a mob movie or something from the 40s.
yeah.
But yeah, he's really good in this movie. Uh, what happens next? I can't remember. I think they just go in to start training the villagers or something. Yeah, that's right. They have a map. They make up a map of the village so
Mm,
they can see where they can cut places off and stuff. They even flood some of the fields to block the way.
mm,
Yeah, yeah, and then what was it? They come on a wooded area, and this is a pretty area. It'll be a it'll be a death trap too. They say, yeah, it'll be a death trap when we start fighting. And that's the main thoroughfare where they funnel them into the village.
mm. Again, this is all organized by the older man, isn't it? The first
Yeah,
man, the first one you see, the one that looks like a monk. He's got a great plan. They kind of go through,
yeah,
as you say, where's the best place to to set up a trap, or where what shall they do? How shall they defend the village? It's really cool.
yeah. And I like how they let only like one or two of the bandits in past the defenses, and then
Mm,
cut them off and pick them off one at a time. Yeah, and what happened? Yeah, they actually attack the bandits' hideout, and there's 40 of the bandits, and they like kill 10 of them there. So, I don't know how far I should go. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but I guess it's been out long enough. I
Mm.
guess. Yeah, and when they do attack the village, this guy gets shot. He's the first one to not make it.
I'd forgotten that. I'd forgotten that about the movie, that there are actually, I mean, they call them, well, the muskets, aren't they? They're not really guns. They're
Yeah, they
really
have
old
muskets.
fashioned. The bandits have a couple of guns. It's like, oh no, you know.
Yeah, they, thanks to the Dutch ship or the Dutch
Okay, was it?
seamen. They traded the samurai traded gun or I don't know what they traded for, but they got
Mm.
guns through or the
Yeah,
muskets through the Dutch.
they got guns, and
Yeah, and
then
they also
they learned how to.
modified them too.
Yeah, yeah.
They cut the stock shorter and stuff so they could fire them easier from horseback. Uh, yeah, it almost looks like a long-barreled pistol.
Mm.
I mean, they've shortened the stock so much that it's almost looks like a long-barreled pistol. Interesting.
Jacob, you know the scene you were talking about where they, some of the samurai go to the bandits, whatever it is, their hideout, the village. That scene I'd forgotten as well about the fire, because they set it on fire, don't they, to kind of
Right,
smoke them
right.
out, and that was so effective. That whole scene, I thought it looked really like, oh my god, this is burning. It looks really dangerous. I'm very impressed with that.
And also, one of the villagers goes with them,
Yes.
and uh, un or unbeknownst to the samurai, his wife was taken by the bandits. So he's gone with them to see if he can find his wife, and his wife
Mm.
has been abused by the bandits, and she just runs back into the fire and dies in the fire. And
Yeah, when she sees
that's
him. Yeah.
and this and he's trying to go in after her, and this guy has to grab him and drag him back, and that's what gets him shot.
Mm.
So yeah, then they have the burial scene where they have his sword. He's buried, and they stick his sword in the ground next to him.
Yeah, that was interesting. That's a great visual image, wasn't it? I didn't
Yeah,
know.
it
I don't know if they
was.
really did that or not, but that was so cool.
Yeah, and he made a banner too to fly in battle, and the uh, the jokester guy grabs it and runs up on the roof and sticks it in the roof, and then and then up over the rise, here comes the bandits for revenge.
Yes. Yeah. There was a lot of them, wasn't there, as well? I mean, I know they're kind of counting them, aren't they, during the movie, so you get an idea, but there was a lot of bandits.
Yeah, and I like how the samurai get a piece of paper and a bunch of circles on it, and they're
Mm.
slowly marking off the circles as they kill a bandit. So, you know, the first I don't remember. They get quite a few the first day, and I like I like the part where they're at night, and he's sitting next to the defenses, and he keeps hearing something, and he goes up and looks, and he can't see anything, and then there's guys trying to climb up the defenses right in front of him. That was a good. I like that part. That was a good part.
Yeah, they were creeping up, weren't they? Trying to, yeah,
Yeah,
make their way in, break in, but he couldn't see them.
yeah. Another one too. That after the I think it's the first day. There's like three guys with muskets, or the bandits, three of them with muskets, and they're shooting at him, and uh, they send out the expert swordsman guy, and he's out all night, and then
Mm.
comes walking up through the mist, and he's got one of the muskets.
That was another great scene. The way Kurosawa, the way that he kind of drew it out, didn't he? You could, like you said, you could see the mist, and okay, I think somebody's coming, but we're not sure who it is. They weren't sure, and then yeah, he turns up. It's him with a gun, looking like a real badass.
Yeah, and all he does is he hands the older samurai the gun and just goes off and sits down and goes to
Has a
sleep.
sleep. Yeah.
Uh, and then the young guy, as this guy's trying to go to sleep, the young guy comes up to him, just stands there, looking at him. He's looking at him with respect in his eyes, you know.
Hmm.
And the guy looks up at him. Do you need something? And the young guy says, I think you're a wonderful person. I've been wanting to tell you that for a long time. And the young guy walks off, and the expert samurai guy gets a smile on his face and just closes his eyes and goes back to sleep. And then I think it shows him, he hears horses, and it wakes him up, right? And then
Yeah, I think so.
that's
Yeah,
the second
they're,
day of
they're
fighting, I
coming.
think.
The bandits are coming. They're going to attack.
Uh, what is that? Uh, I can't remember what happens then.
Where was it?
I watched it yesterday, so I've got Magnificent Seven too in my head.
No,
Uh,
no worries. Me too. I've got them both in my head. But yeah, you don't worry. You don't have to go too detailed on it. But just the things that stood out were, as you've said, the way they were building up the scenes, the way they developed the characters, so that you get to know them so well without knowing the names, really, just by the way they act.
yeah,
And you really feel something when when they start to get killed, don't you? Because
yeah,
you
you
got
do.
attached to them.
Yeah, and the bandits too. That you don't really get much story about them, but
No.
you can tell who the leaders are because they've got the most armor than their other bandits. It's got one of them's got like an eye patch, and he's all full samurai armor.
Mm.
Oh yeah, yeah, something too. When they're training, uh, where is he? He notices that one of them has a spear, an actual spear.
Mm.
He's like, "Where did you get that?" And he starts, chewing him out, wondering, "Where's the rest of it? I know you have more." And come to find out, they have a bunch of armor and more spears and bow and
Mm.
arrows. But yeah, you come to find out that after a battle, the villagers have been picking off samurai that have been defeated, and they're like, oh. So at first the samurai are like, oh, these villagers, they're just as bad as the bandits. They've been killing off uh, defeated samurai and stealing their
Mm.
weapons. And then this guy starts hollering at him. What are they to do? You come into their villages and take their food and rape their women, and he's chewing them out, and they all realize, well, wow, he's right. That's what else would they do? I thought that
Yeah,
was a really really good scene.
it was a great scene. It's like without explaining it, he just makes you realize that okay, wait a minute, who are the good guys here? Are they both are they both groups bad, or do the samurai make the farmers do that kind of thing? It's hard to say, isn't it? Well, I don't know, but yeah, it was a really good scene.
Yeah.
It takes the clown, doesn't it? It takes him, the jester, to kind of make people realize, oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah, maybe we're not doing a good thing.
Yeah. So that uh, changes the mind of the samurai a little bit.
Mm.
Uh, something too. I like the part where they're eating and they have all this rice, and I forget what tells them about this, but they realize that the villagers are giving them the best of their food, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
So then they start, giving the rice out to the little kids, and kind of cool. I like that was also another good part. But are there any parts that stood out for you?
Um, Trying to think, not so much parts, but the way the Kurosawa, the way he uses nature, like for example the weather, the elements, and just
Right.
to set scenes. It's so good. A lot of the scenes it's in the rain, isn't it? And they
Yeah.
said when they were shooting, it seemed to be raining almost all the time. But yeah, it's so effective. He'll do that.
They y'all get like a monsoon rainy season, right? In
Yeah, we
Japan.
do. Yeah.
So is that when it was filmed? Do you know? Or,
I was just checking on Wiki, and it took a long, long time. It was filmed almost like over a year,
oh,
and they
okay.
finished filming in February, which is the coldest, time of the year here. Apparently, in an interview, the clown, the jester, the most famous actor, he said it's the coldest he's ever been in his life. That's at the end, the big, the battle where he's almost naked, isn't he? He's just wearing like pants or something at
Armor.
one
Yeah.
point. Yeah, he's got like a bare chest, and it must have been so cold. You can see when they're talking, Jacob. Like you can see the breath. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a cold set wherever they are.
Yeah. Yeah. That part in the rain too. The Can you imagine trying to keep your footing running around in that too?
Oh no.
I think it does even show some of the villagers slip, as they're running back and forth.
Yes, you do see that. It just looks real, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It
it
says here
does.
on Wiki that there was 3 months of pre-production and then 150 shooting days, which were spread over a
Wow.
year. It took 4 times as long as they expected to do it. So
Wow. Hmm.
wow.
I don't know, but it looked like a real village too. It didn't.
Yeah, they did. They built an actual village for it because first of all they were going to do it on a set, but Kurosawa didn't want that. He said, it looks like a set. It doesn't look real. He
Yeah,
wants
it
it
does. Right.
to look real.
Yeah, and it really does pay off too. I like that scene too where the young samurai is walking around in the woods. And all the flowers and stuff are blooming and stuff.
Mm,
That was a good part.
it was good. You wonder, don't you? I mean, it does look great in black and white, and it was filmed in black and white because of the time. But you wonder how it would look in color, especially those
Yeah,
kind of scenes,
yeah,
seeing the flowers, seeing nature.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what kind of camera they used, but the format was just the uh, square format.
Mm.
Yeah. Did I wonder if Kurosawa chose that format? Because I know with photography that square format is like the biggest format with the camera you can get.
Yeah, just having a quick check on Wiki, if you don't mind, Jacob. I'll just read a
Oh
little
no, no, go
bit.
ahead.
It says here that he was granted a lot of freedom by the studio, so he made use of telephoto lenses, which were rare in 1954. Also, multiple cameras, which allowed the action to fill the screen and place the audience like right in the middle of it.
Yeah,
So, yeah, ahead of his time apparently.
yeah. Something too. Seeing this it would have been neat to see this on the big screen.
Mm,
I think you would catch things that you miss because it's on such a small screen.
yeah, definitely.
I think that with a lot of movies, they're made. Most of them are made for the big screen, especially the ones from the 40s and 50s. That's what they filmed them for, people to go into the theater. So it was a more grander experience.
Mm.
I think of seeing John Ford movies in theater would have been pretty spectacular.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, back then it was kind of the not the only way. I mean, I guess they did show them on TV eventually, but that was the only way that you could really experience, didn't it, in color for a start, or if it was in color, and as you say, massive screen, good sound.
Yeah, yeah. Well, moving on here, I think that they're finally down to like 13 bandits, and the head guy is like, okay, this is the final battle. We're gonna let all 13 of them in and close in around them. And really, I think actually one of the other samurai get killed right before that. I think it's this guy. He's like the I think he was the first one that they got to be one of the samurai.
Mm.
But yeah, so then they finally let all the bandits in the village, and actually it actually does get it's their most costly battle, I think,
Yeah.
because even some of the villagers get killed, uh, and then the two more of the samurai get killed. But, yeah, but then they finally are able to defeat all the bandits. Then then there are shows the hill where they're buried, and there are four samurai with their samurai swords in the ground
Mm.
next to him.
So they lost four, didn't they? Four of the
Yeah,
seven.
four of the samurai, four of the
Mm.
seven. But I like this part too. The old man, the old samurai guy, is he's talking with his friend, the this guy, and he's saying, "We lost another war." And this guy looks at him like, "What? We won that one. What are you talking about?" And he says, "The villagers won that war, and we still lost it. We still lost because they were just
Mm.
hired to, help the villagers defeat the bandits."
Yeah, some of them gave their lives for it, didn't they? As you say, and they weren't really paid. They were just paid in food.
Yeah. Sorry, getting a drink there.
Oh, you're good.
Yes, so this movie is a fabulous movie. Uh, I strongly recommend people to watch it. It's a good one. Great movie. So
Me
any
too, Jacob.
any
Me
closing
too.
thoughts for you?
I'm not entirely sure because I've not really researched it that much. But do you think was this the origin of the kind of getting the band together kind of movies where you saw in so many movies after that, finding different people, bringing them together to fight against some kind of threat. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was the
Yeah.
first one.
And even I mean I can't think of any others like this one before,
Hmm.
at least in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Uh, but you even still see it today. There's a new what's his name? Uh, Zack Snyder movie that he's filming right now called Rogue Moon, I think is what it's called. But
All
it's
right.
it's
Well,
that it's that same premise. But it's like in the future, and that they're going across the galaxy finding people to help him come fight a warlord or something.
Mm.
But yeah, that was a good. It sure as I think it's sure spurned a lot of movies, from this one. Inspired a lot
Yeah,
of people.
absolutely.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, the older actor that played the lead samurai guy, he's he was been they've had movies in Japan for a long time. I mean, back to the 20s. I noticed that actor had been acting from the 20s. You know,
Oh wow.
so they've Japan had movies that far back, and I guess they must have been silent films. I guess,
Mm. I
but
don't know much
yeah,
about the Japanese movie or film history, but yeah, I think this movie's probably my first introduction to it when I was younger.
yeah. It's hard to put a number, uh, 1 out of 10 or whatever. It's hard to put a number to it. It's that good.
Nosferatu, you madman.
What is it? Did he say? My favorite part of Seven Samurai is when he says, "You have not seen." Oh gosh,
You have
sorry.
not seen what I've
You have not
seen.
seen.
That's become a massive meme,
No,
hasn't it,
you
Jacob?
have not seen. Oh gosh. Okay, you ready to start the next one?
Yes, for sure. I just back up what you said.
Okay,
Huge recommend. It's worth investing the time. I know it's a long movie, but you don't have to watch it all in one
it's
go.
worth
Watch
it.
it over a couple of evenings and enjoy the
Yeah,
masterclass in build up performance.
watch it in 2 parts. Watch it to the intermission, and then
Yeah,
watch the next part the next day.
absolutely.
So, yeah, great movie. Okay, let me pull up the other trailer.
So
Let me
Jacob,
play that real
what's
quick.
your history with Magnificent Seven? I'm curious to know that. Did you grow up like watching that?
Yeah, I just grew up watching a bunch of old westerns, The
Okay.
Searchers, and John Wayne movies. I mean, he had a
Hmm.
ton of western movies. So I just grew up watching westerns, and it's just. I mean, one of my other videos, I talk about The Searchers and The Big Country,
Oh,
which
okay.
are two more great movies that I recommend to watch. Those are great movies, but there's so many westerns. Uh,
I missed
yeah,
a lot of that in the UK. The ones that I remember when I was younger were of course, the Sergio Leone, the Clint Eastwood
right,
spaghetti westerns, and then some of
right.
his Clint Eastwood's own, personal directed westerns, which were amazing, like Pale Rider or that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, at least my age, grew up with Disney movies.
Mm,
Well, I grew up watching old movies from the 40s and 50s. So,
that's cool. Is that because of
yeah.
your folks, your family, or just something that you got into?
Well, we homeschooled, and it was
Yeah.
just,
Okay.
in most of those older movies, you could set your kid in front of, and you knew there wasn't anything, that would come up that you didn't
Mm,
want your kids to see. So that was part of it. But there are a lot of really good movies from the 40s and 50s and
mm,
60s.
I
Uh,
agree.
so okay, let me pull up that trailer for the Magnificent Seven. Hang on just a second.
Tell you what, how iconic does Yul Brynner look in this movie? Just looks brilliant.
What were you saying? Sorry.
Yul Brynner just, I've forgotten how iconic he looks in this film. He looks, what a fantastic design, just the whole look of him.
Yeah, yeah. Very. You sometimes you the older westerns. It's usually the bad guy wearing the black hat.
Yeah, the man in black. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of a neat twist to have him wearing the black hat.
Mm.
Because, well, he is a gunman, so I mean, you kind of what is the rides right in the middle between the bad guys and good guys, kind
Mm.
of.
That's
When you
right.
think
You're
about
not
it,
sure. You're not
so
sure about him. You start with, is he, whose side is he on? But he turns out, okay, he's a very honourable man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just shout out, and I'll pause it, and
Yeah, no, sorry, I just go for it. Steve McQueen looking awesome too.
yeah, yeah.
It's some cast, Jacob, isn't it? In this, what a cast.
And two, the bad guys are more of a character in this movie.
Yeah,
They,
definitely. There's much more of a story, isn't there, for them as well.
yeah.
So Seven Samurai was 1954. This was 1960, if I'm right.
Yeah. Uh,
Nice to see colour.
yeah, and I think some of the actors actually were riding those horses too. It sure looked like it.
I thought the same thing when I was watching. Yeah, I mean, at times you can tell there's a stuntman when they're doing a really dangerous, like getting on the horse or getting off it. But they're all riding, aren't they? Mainly the
Yeah,
main characters. Yeah, looks so
yeah.
cool.
I'm gonna pull up the photos from that movie so we can go through them.
Oh, there's a good
Yeah,
comment in chat from Pilgrim LJC. Yeah, mate, I'm the same. When I see Yul Brynner, I think of Westworld straight away, especially all dressed in black.
yeah. Also, he played the. That remember that or that movie? Yes, something that was added to this movie that I thought was really good is the head bad guy.
Mm, yeah.
He's a really good actor, and he's not even Mexican, so it's already this movie is problematic.
God, I hate that. I hate that word, Jacob. Don't you? At the
Yeah,
moment,
me too.
Jesus.
Mm. Let me see. I'm trying to get this photos pulled up. Here we go. Here we go.
I didn't know about the actor Yul Brynner. That I thought he was naturally bald, but apparently he shaved his head for The King and I, the musical, and then the film, and ever since then he just kept that look.
I
He
want
thought
to
it looked really
just
cool.
stuck with him, huh?
Yeah, I stuck with it. Haven't seen Westworld in a long time. The movie.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that one. Uh, haven't even seen the new one. I
Fair enough.
heard
The
that
first
one went
season's
too
good.
kind.
That's all.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it kind of goes down after that. There we go. Yeah, this one actually opened. Yeah, it opens up with the bad guys riding into the little village. I think. Uh, so we get that part there, and after they leave, the villagers start the same thing. You know, we gotta fight. We gotta get some people to come help us fight.
That
Yeah,
village was very impressive, Jacob. Do you know? It looked real. Was that a real kind of village, or did
that's
they build it for the movie?
that's what it looked like. Sure looked like a real little village. And the church really looked like it was a real building.
Yeah,
So
it was. It was kind of half not abandoned, but wasn't it? It looked like it had seen better days, but it was, yeah, it was good.
yeah, so they sent out their people to go look for gunmen. But yeah, the opening scene with Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen was great. This there we go. Yeah, what did you think of that opening scene?
I'd forgotten all about it. So is that the scene where
It's the
they're
one.
riding the hearse?
Yeah, the this guy's paid a that was walking down the street of this town, and this guy fell over dead in front of him, or something like that. And
Mm.
he wants this uh, guy to go bury him, but he won't take him up there because there's people in the town that don't want him buried on Boot Hill, which is where they bury all the criminals and stuff,
Yeah.
or, or poor people, and they won't bury him up there because he's an Indian. So Yul Brynner says, if that's all you need somebody to drive the wagon. I'll drive the wagon. So he gets up there, and then Steve McQueen grabs a shotgun and gets up there with him. So quite a different opening to the Seven Samurai. So
Yeah, definitely. Very different scene, wasn't it? Where I think it was a good idea to do that. Do a different kind of scene where you're setting up the main character, Yul Brynner's character, as a noble man.
yeah, and I'm glad they didn't just do like a carbon copy of the Seven Samurai, but with cowboys.
Yeah,
They
me too.
they did make it their own version, so I'm glad they did that. Yeah, so they drive that hearse. It's actually a hearse that they're driving, the wagon hearse.
Mm.
So they drive that up there, and they get into a little shootout with some people. And Yul Brynner shoots a couple of the guys in the hand. Doesn't kill him, just so they get that guy buried up there. So, what did you think of that scene?
It's a good way to show, again, to set up his character, to show, Yul Brynner's character is not an evil man, a bad man, because he could have killed them, couldn't he? As you say, he shoots them in the hand to disarm them, not to
Yeah,
kill.
yeah,
I
And
also thought it
then
was cool to see the hearse, you know, and it's something I didn't think about as like a horse and carriage, but it's a hearse, you know. Of course, they
yeah,
had to do that back then, didn't they? That's how they did it, I guess.
yeah, yeah. And the owner of the hearse didn't want it ridden up there because it'll get all shot full of holes. So a bunch of people in the crowd say, "Well, we'll pay the damages. We want to see this."
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, this is the most exciting thing that's happened in this town in a while. There he is with his black hat there.
Mm.
So yeah, he's gone to his hotel room and somebody knocks on the door. And I like that he didn't put his gun on. He just unbuckles it from the belt so he can grab it that's sitting next to him. He's that fast. He can grab it laying on the bed from it laying on the bed. Yeah, and this is the guy I was talking about, the leader of the bandits.
Mm.
He's actually Jewish, I think, some Jewish descent. But his accent, he sounds like he's got a really good Spanish accent he's worked on.
Yeah. Sounded
So,
good to me. I mean, I don't know
yeah,
for sure, you know, but it's Eli Wallach is his
yeah,
actor's name. Mm.
yeah. Last time I looked, he was still alive, but he might have passed away since then. But yeah, he was good. He was a good character. This might work better. There we go. Yeah, this. What happens next? So yeah, they're so he says hello, and they open the door, and it's the three of the farmers coming to get some help from him. Oh, I didn't notice that. He's got two. He was wearing two guns. Oh
Mm.
yeah,
No, I don't remember either. No way.
hang on, I have slides I forgot about. There we go. So yeah, they come to get his help, and he's not at first he's not gonna go to their village. He's just gonna help them find the gunman to help.
Mm.
So then they go to sitting in a bar, and I like this part. The one of the farmers sees a guy and says, "Oh, that guy. He looks like somebody we need to hire." And one of the other farmers says, "No, we want the guy that gave him those scars."
Yeah, it's a good line.
Yeah, but then Steve McQueen walks in, and let me forget his name. Let me pull up the IMDb page. I think is it Ben? I think it's Ben.
Yeah, he's got a weird name, Vin Tanner.
Yeah, Vin. That's it. Yeah, so he comes into the bar and uh, he tells the what's his name? Chris. It's him. His name is Chris, and gets the bartender to get him a drink, or he wants to buy Vin a drink. So he comes over and they chat a little bit. and he asks how much is they're going to be paid, and Chris says $20, and then he says $20 wouldn't even pay for my bullets. So yeah, so he's the first one they get to help. Now this is where it gets tricky. The they kind of take the from the Seven Samurai. They kind of take the characteristics of each character and jumble them up. So this is the young guy in this one, but
Yeah.
he's also he also plays the uh, what's the guy's name? The
Toshiro
yeah,
Mifune, yeah, the kind of
right.
jester role as well.
So
That's a
he's
good
kind
point,
of a
Jacob.
he's kind of a mixture of the young samurai and the practical Joker samurai guy.
Mm.
So they kind of mix. And the scene I like the scene he comes in and Chris tells him to clap his hands together real fast as he can. And as he claps his hands together, Chris pulls his gun out at him. To see how fast the kid is with his gun.
Mm.
And then Chris asks him to draw on him, and he just gets mad and storms out. So
You
that's
can't do it. Yeah.
yeah. So then he runs into this guy. This guy comes next, and he knows Chris, so they've worked together before. And so he's wanting to know how much gold they're going to get, and stuff. He says, and he tells him, we're just going to get food. That's all they're paying us with. So they keep that from the Seven Samurai. The villages are going to pay these men with food. So that was good. So, and then this is the what? Yeah, the second guy they get.
Yeah.
And two, he's in it. What's his name?
Charles Bronson. I didn't know he
Charles
was in
Bronson.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. And I was surprised at how big he was. Muscular he was
Yeah.
in the scene. He's the guy chopping wood, isn't he? When they
Right.
find him.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
And two, he's actually chopping that wood because he puts a big log on there and chops it, but the axe doesn't go through it. So he like lifts the log up and flips it around and smashes the axe head into the thing and chops it. So he's
Mm.
actually chopping that wood. I thought was cool. And he knew what he was doing. Yeah, so same deal with this guy. He scoffs at him. Oh, you're just $20. Oh, I can't do that. But as they're walking off, he thinks, I really could use $20 is a lot right now. So he says he'll join him. So that was now this one kind of it's not as a lot of groundwork as Seven Samurai. It they this part of it they go through it pretty quick.
Mm. Yeah.
So then they see this guy. They go to see this guy, and this is like the expert swordsman samurai, James Corbin, right?
It was interesting, wasn't it? They went for him because he's a younger actor, of course. Well, he looks young in the part, but yeah, as you say, he's playing the Master Swordsman version, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. And this time it's not swords. He's got a knife, and the other guy wants to go up against him with a knife. And this guy's saying that he could get the guy with the gun before the gun gets shot at him.
Yeah.
So they set up targets next to each other, and the one guy shoots a cup, and he throws his knife at the uh, at the target too. And of course, the guy says, "Oh, well, I won." Uh, and then he gets angry because he this guy says he didn't win, so he gets angry and forces it into a real fight. So they do the same thing again, but of course he gets him first with the knife.
What do you think of that scene, Jacob?
I don't know about that one.
It was a bit
You'd
weird,
have to
wasn't
be
it?
pretty fast with a knife to. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Hmm.
I mean, it looked possible. I mean, the knife, of course, would be lighter than the gun.
Hmm.
And two, you have to cock the gun. So I don't know. That was a tricky one. What about you? What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's not meant to be realistic, is it? I just thought it was a bit funny that he beat him to the
Yeah,
draw with the throwing a knife. Think about the speed of a bullet. But it's a good way to change the character. Have a different style, not just another gunman. You got a knife thrower.
but two, it does a similar thing like the other one, like the uh, when they're doing it with the bamboo
Hmm.
sticks.
Yeah,
The bamboo stick stops because it's not going through anything, but a samurai sword would go through. So it's he just like that. The sword goes through, and he steps out of the path of the other sword. This
yeah.
is this is kind of the same thing, but he's not trying to beat the bullet. He's trying to beat the guy drawing his gun and
Mm,
cocking the gun.
trying to beat the draw. Yeah,
So he pulls his gun as the knife hits him, and that throws his aim off. So it was almost a tie. If he had been a little slower with the knife, it might have been a tie.
yeah, yeah.
So I thought that was interesting that they picked up on that little uh, thing in the Seven Samurai fight. So
Hmm.
that was interesting.
I like the way they showed him like trying to sleep as well. Just he was just ignoring the guy, wasn't he? He kept trying to ignore him, but the guy was
Yeah,
pushing
he
and
wasn't
pushing.
wasn't even trying to start a fight. He
No,
just was
just
trying to sleep. But yeah, so then he's there. He doesn't accept their offer at first. So then they find this guy, and something is interesting. If you notice his hat, it's got a bullet hole in it.
yeah, no way.
Yeah, yeah. That's another thing about seeing these movies on the big screen. You miss little things like that,
Mm,
and you can tell it's like he put a piece of fabric to kind of fix it. So it's kind of a fixed hat with a bullet hole in it, which was I thought was funny. But yeah, this guy's waiting in Chris's hotel room, and he doesn't care about the money because he's kind of hiding out from people that are after him. So he just goes to get out of town for a while.
mm. I like
I
this
don't know if you,
actor, Jacob. Is
yeah,
it Robert Vaughn? I saw him in a lot of things. He's probably most famous for the man from Uncle. Was he in that?
right, yeah.
But I wasn't sure about his character in the movie. Didn't really get a good feel. Not a good feeling. What's the word? Didn't really build him up very much, did they?
And no, they didn't. He was just kind of their last guy that they had to get.
Yeah, he was just there, wasn't he? Okay.
But then, as the Seven Samurai had in the beginning, that was their build up when they were looking for the other swordsmen to get. That was their, getting to know the characters and building up the story before they went to the village. But
Yeah.
this in Magnificent Seven, they do that after they get to the village, which I thought was a good twist.
Mm, that's a good point.
Yeah, yeah, and the same deal with the young samurai guy, or the kind of clown samurai guy. This guy's following him,
Mm,
and it just the same premise. They finally let him into their uh, group. So, and he and when they get to the village, it's the same as the other one, that all the villagers are hiding, and he does the same thing. He rings the bell and gets them all to come out, and uh, kind of chews them out a little bit. And two, he's the least experienced of the group, and he acts like he's real experienced, and he tells the villagers, now go back to your houses, we'll tell you when to fight and how to fight. That was so they do copy a few scenes from Seven Samurai, almost exactly, almost.
mm, that's right. This character as well, Jacob, I didn't realise until, of course, I checked up on Wikipedia, but he was a German actor.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
no idea. He's got a great name. He's where is it? The actor's name is Horst. I can't even pronounce it. Horst Buchholz. But he plays
Wow.
Chico, Chico, the young hot-blooded shooter.
Yeah, Chico.
He was good though. He grew on me. I wasn't sure about him at first. He was kind of, when the scene in the bar where he's drunk and he's trying to do that kind of clown, little bit of clown but angry scene. I wasn't sure about that, but yeah, I thought he got better as it went on.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, it's funny. Yeah, that wasn't as big of a part of this one. Was the comical stuff,
No, that's right.
but they did it in other ways. They kind of spread out the comical stuff amongst multiple characters, so they kind of all had a little bit to play in that part.
Yeah, I noticed that with Steve McQueen's character. He was good. He not overplaying it, just very subtle, but he made me laugh a few times with just a look or a kind of reaction he did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of the parts, they're talking with like the older man in the village that told the people that they needed to go get some help,
Yeah.
and they're having a conversation, and the old man says, well, what if they show up tomorrow? Are you ready? And Steve McQueen kind of tells a joke. He says that, I heard about this guy from where I lived. He fell off an 8-story building, and as people heard him through the window, he said, so far so good. So and then he says, so far so good. So
Yep,
that was
still
kind of
alive.
funny.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
But yeah, they're trying to get that old man to come back to the village where they can protect him, and he stays up
Mm.
there. Yeah, and that's something else in the difference. The old man in Seven Samurai, he actually gets killed and his house gets burned down.
Mm.
You know, and the old man in this one, he survives. He's way up in the looks like he's way up in the hills, away from the town, so he survives. Yeah. So then they're training they actually have the same setup as Seven Samurai. There's 3 bandits, kind of spying on them. So 3 of them go up in the hills to take them out. So they pick them off. And the villagers didn't get any guns. They don't have any guns. So they just got 3 new guns for the village to use. I
That's
thought
right.
that was a good, that kind of little different story with the villagers killing off samurai to get their weapons and stuff. They actually are killing off the bandits and using their weapons against them. So I thought
Mm.
that was a good twist there. So yeah, and they're then it shows them training the villagers, and they're just dry firing the guns. They don't even have bullets in them yet. Let me get a drink. Okay. So would you think about that the training montage they did?
Yeah, it was good. It was, of course, it was probably shorter, but because the movie's shorter than the samurai movie, but yeah, I enjoyed seeing them training is it the Mexican villagers? Yeah, how to fire. And there was one guy who just couldn't get it, could he? He kept getting too
Yeah.
excited and losing the aim, missing.
Yeah, and then Charles Bronson's character, he kind of does a comical part there. Don't shoot the gun. Just turn it over and use it as a club.
That'll be probably more effective.
Yeah, and it's some also funny. The villager he says that to kind of gets up and he's all happy about it. You know, gracias, thank you for.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. You know, he knows he can't shoot for shit. Like,
Yeah, yeah, right. But yeah, that was a good part too. Uh, so yeah, they actually, one thing that's different with this one is that I think the seven gunmen go out to, you know, kind of take the fight to the bandits. Well, actually, wait. There is a part where they the first attack by the bandits, and they
mm,
kind of have a standoff there with them, and like 10 or 12 of the bandits get killed because they kind of surprise them and pick a few of them off, and the rest of them flee right out. So we have that part there, and then they have the scene with the uh, bandits shooting at him from the hills with rifles.
yeah, yeah.
So, and they actually they played it a little different because all the bandits had guns, so they all had rifles. So they were kind of pinned down. The gunmen were kind of pinned, and they wait. I think they wait till nightfall, and 3 or 4 of them go up and take out a few of the gunmen, and then they get more guns for the villagers. And then I think it's at this point where I can't remember, did they ask him to leave or were they going up to kind of take the fight to the bandits? I can't remember.
What happened is this character Chico, it happens really quick, doesn't it? But he kind of infiltrates the bandits' camp, and he hears that
Right,
they're
right.
going to come back because they've got no food. You know, they're going to come and try and raid the village. So when he goes back and tells them, some of the Mexican villagers, the farmers are saying like, "Oh, we want you to leave. You know, we think you should leave. You just bring you more trouble."
Yeah. So so that's what they left. Is that what they?
I think
Uh,
so. Yeah, but they do. It says here on the wiki they ride out to make a surprise raid on Calvera's camp, but they find it
okay.
abandoned
Right,
when they go
right.
out there.
Yeah, and then they go back to the village, and as they've been out to get the bandits have come in and taken over the village.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
kind of spring a trap on them, and they they don't even have time to do anything, so they're stuck. So the bandits take their guns away from them and make them leave the village.
that's
And
right. That Mm.
The bandits follow him, to make sure they leave, and then give them their guns back, which
It's
kind of didn't
crazy.
kind of didn't make sense. Hey, let's give these gunmen their guns back so they can. So then the seven of them kind of have a discussion whether they should leave or go, and most
Mm.
of them go back to the village, except for one, which he changes his mind a little later on. But they come back, and as the bandits think they sent them packing and to the village, and they start picking off the bandits again, and it all then this is the final battle for this movie.
Yeah, it was intense, wasn't it? I thought the final battle, a lot more people were getting shot, especially the villages. As I think compared to the Seven Samurai one, you felt like, wow, this is bloodbath, isn't it?
Yeah, 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 and they're too. They're the seven samurai. They're under siege, so they can't get out to go
That's
into.
right.
So they kind of just they wait and wait till they attack and pick them off a few at a time. So this one they just have a real all out battle at the end. So
I like the way Jacob they changed that part of the story, as you said, because in Seven Samurai, the bandits can't get into the village; they've got it well defended. But yeah, they change it in this so that the bandits invade while they're away. It's like, oh no, they come back to them and they're there. So that was cool. That was a good
yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, this is like the last 20 minutes of the movie
Mm.
when this happens. So the all of the gunmen make it to the last 20 minutes of the movie. Then I think the guy that didn't come back with them immediately, uh, Chris' character's kind of stuck, and he comes riding in and tries to get him out, and he gets shot in the back. So
Yeah, that was
and
a
then
shame, wasn't
him
it?
and
He went
yeah,
down so quick.
yeah, and I did kind of think they kind of overplayed his death because Chris is kind of next to him holding his hand or something, and he's wondering what kind of you. There was really gold, you were just not telling us about the gold. There was really gold, right? That they were going
Mm.
to get paid with, but which was good. But I think they kind of went a little too far. What do you think? What did you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of Chris again being trying to be nice and telling that he didn't die for nothing, because all he seemed to care about, this character called Harry, he wanted the reward and he wanted riches, and he was always
Right?
believing there was some kind of gold or silver there. But yeah, I thought it was a nice scene. But as you say, this was happening in the middle of the battle, wasn't it? So there was no time for that really.
Yeah.
That
Right.
conversation.
Right.
Ah,
Yeah.
poor Harry.
Yeah. So Chris and Van, right? Vin,
Yeah,
is it
Vin.
Vin, right?
Is it Vin or
So
Van?
they
Van
barricade.
Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel. Yeah. So they barricade themselves in the building that they're in. So and
Mm.
the bandits are kind of uh, trying to knock the door down, and the oh, we didn't talk much about this guy either. He in the first battle, he didn't shoot his gun once.
No, he's like
He's
traumatized, isn't he? Yeah,
he
that's something.
it's almost like he's got PTSD or something.
Mm,
Because
mm,
then they have a scene of him. He has a nightmare and wakes up screaming. So
mm,
he's kind of got a PSD about uh, fighting. So and villagers hear him, and they come in and say, "You're all right. You're just having a nightmare." And he's kind of having a pity party a little bit about and he says, "I used to not be scared, of gunfights and stuff." And the villagers, they get up and they're leaving, and one of them turns back and says, "We know fear all the time. It just makes us better fighters," or whatever. And it
Yeah.
kind of strikes him like everybody's afraid, during a fight. And so that was a good scene there. I'm glad I remembered that one. That was so the bandits are holding some of the farmers in the village some of the men. They're kind of have them in a little makeshift jail or something. So he busts in and takes out the guards, and then the villagers, grab anything at hand, as sticks and stools, and they go attack the men that are trying to break down the door. So they take care of those guys with a stool.
That was a good scene, wasn't it? Seeing them,
Yeah.
they realized, these men, these hired gunfighters were fighting for them, giving their lives for them. So they're just like, right, come on, grab anything that you can and just we'll try and help, try and take them out.
Yeah. Yeah. And the bandit leader, it kind of sneaks around the back. Well, first there's actually, yeah, this is how it goes. The leader sneaks around the back and is trying to shoot the Chris and Vin in the back. So, and they see him, so they flip around, and he gets shot right there, and he actually dies before any of the other gunmen get killed. And this guy's kind of standing back, keeping an eye, and somebody shoots him in the back, and he gets killed. So that, but he did redeem himself in the end there. He got up courage to help fight the bandits. So so that's that with that guy.
Yeah, that was a good. He got his little redemption, didn't he?
Yeah.
At the end.
Then one of the other, this guy, he gets. He's the next one to get shot, and he's actually, he ran out of bullets, and he started, throwing. I don't know if he had more than one knife, but he was throwing a knife. That's what it was. He ran out of bullets, and he pulled his knife, and that's when he gets shot.
Yeah.
And then he kind of, as he's falling, kind of flicks his knife into a wood or into a tree or something. So I just wanted to see him take out at least a few of them with that knife.
I know, right? Yeah, you would have thought that, maybe he could have got some from the villagers as well, some knives, some cooking knives or something, and had a little supply. Right. That would have been nice to see.
Yeah. But then the next guy to get killed is this one, is Charles Bronson's character, which was a little sad because he kind of had formed a relationship with some of the boys from the village, kind of a fatherly relationship with some of the boys. So that was kind of a sad scene there. But one good scene is when the bandits have taken over the village and they're making them leave. He's packing his belongings, and the boys come in and are begging to go with him. And one of them says, "We want to go with you because our fathers are cowards." And he grabs the little boy and kind of gives him a spanking and says, "Don't ever say that. Your fathers have a big responsibility. They have you and your brothers and sisters and wife to take care of." So he tells them they're not cowards. and he says, "I wish
Mm.
I had that kind of bravery." So then when he dies, the little boys are there, and they has a sad, sad death scene.
Yeah, it does. Jacob, what did you think as well? They seem to go down pretty fast, don't they? It's right near the end this, and you're seeing one get killed after another. I'm not sure. Maybe it felt like it was a bit rushed. It's like, oh, I wanted more time with the characters, but
Yeah, yeah. It did seem a little rushed there at the end, but I guess a gunfight is a little seems to be a little more chaotic and faster, you know,
mm. Oh yeah, definitely.
because you don't have to get close to anybody to fight with them. You're shooting at each other from distance.
Yeah,
But yeah, but the villagers, pick off the most of the uh, bandits there at the end.
there's some great scenes, aren't there, where the villagers pulling the bandits off the horses, that kind of thing, attacking them with, as you said before, like farming weapons and stools and chairs.
Yeah,
Really good.
yeah, yeah. That one guy's like hiding behind a bale of looks like a bale of corn, and
Mm.
he's got a big knife thing, and just takes out one of the riders that rides by. And that was pretty. And you can tell that they had a line on that rider that they yanked him off the horse with. I don't, the you didn't see the line or anything, but you could tell he was yanked off that horse.
Yeah, just by the way he moved. Yeah, yeah.
Then
What did you
then we
think,
kind of in.
Jacob? Sorry, the end. Well, it's
Right.
not quite the end, but when the bandit leader, when he gets shot, and then Chris is confronting him, and he's asking, like, you came back to a place like this. Why? Why? He just can't believe that they came back to fight for the villagers. That was a good scene.
Yeah, yeah, that was. Yeah, and Chris doesn't even say anything, right?
No, that's what makes it even better. Yeah, he doesn't give him an answer. Just like,
No. Yeah, there are things worth fighting for that don't require getting paid to do it.
mm,
So yeah, and we do kind of end with the same, except with one difference. The oh, that's I'll have to bring that up too. The comical samurai guy. He grew up a farmer. I forgot to mention that.
yeah, yeah. I kind of missed that.
Like
I saw that reading the plot.
I'll just go over it real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
The old man is out in his house, where they can't protect him, and his son and daughter-in-law and she's carrying her baby out there to go get him back in, and the bandits, burn as they're trying to get the old man out of there. The bandits attack him and killed the old man and the father, and so the two of the uh, that character, the comical samurai, goes out there, and the woman hands him the baby, and she's been stabbed, and she falls over, and he's like kind of loses it because he realizes it's the same thing that happened to him when he was young. So he says, this baby was me. So the
Mm,
same thing happened to him. His family was killed by bandits. So you kind of see why he had a love hate for the farmers.
yeah.
So, and
Great scene.
yeah. So then this guy, this guy, uh, as they're leaving the village, the last three gunmen, and he turns back, and he grew up a farmer too, so he that was the same for him, but he stays. He goes back and stays because he kind of fell in love with the village girl. So he's that's the only difference at the end. He stays.
What do you think of that, Jacob? That decision of his to go back to the farming village.
Well, I think at the beginning of it, Chris is doesn't like because he's young,
Mm,
and he even says that there's plenty of graves filled with young foolish boys.
yeah.
So I think I think it was a good gunman isn't being a gunman isn't all it's cracked up to be, you know. So I thought that was a good twist there, because you hear the all these during the expansion west, all these writers back east, you know, are writing all these fantastic stories about people that are barely true. So when you actually go out there, it's completely different from what those books said. So I thought it was uh, a good message there at the end.
Mm, yeah, I agree.
Uh, yeah. I, so which movie did you like? Do you like better?
Oh, I've got to say Seven Samurai. You know, just because of I grew up like watching it and that kind of thing. I've got an attachment to it. So
Yeah,
yeah, but it was good to see this after watching Seven Samurai last night. You know, so I got a much better idea of where it was different, the way they, when they chose to go a different way, different parts of the story, and good to see a great cast, a really good cast in this.
yeah, yeah. And it actually sequels. I want to
Right,
say there's like six sequels to the show or this movie.
really. I know there's a few. I
I,
know.
I
I
don't
don't
think
remember
they
seeing them.
I don't think they did as well,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, then they recently made a new one, and it was not couldn't hold a candle to this movie at all.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't know if I've seen the new one.
the head guy is played by Denzel Washington,
Okay.
but it just didn't they it was kind of in that time frame where the whole woke movement was coming in. So they changed the Mexican bandits to rich white men.
What a surprise.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that movie didn't do very. I don't think it wasn't very good at all.
Okay.
Which was kind of sad when they have somebody like a Denzel Washington in it.
Yeah. What a waste.
Yeah, but yeah. I do have to say, after I haven't seen Seven Samurai in a while, but after watching it again, I do have to say it's the original. You know, so it is better. I think it is a little better than this one. And
But would you say you've got more attachment to Magnificent Seven? You know, because of like me, the way you grew up and watching it when you were young.
uh, no, I had more of an attachment to movies like The Searchers or True Grit.
Okay.
So
Mm,
I mean, this was one I watched and one I enjoy and still enjoy. But
mm.
I really liked Seven Samurai a little more. It had
Okay. Cool.
one thing about Magnificent Seven. There's no uh, like scenes from it. You know what I mean? like set up shots of a village or
Mm,
landscape or anything. So there, I can't think of any really memorable scenes like that in this movie. Uh,
yeah.
Kurosawa really had an eye for finding good scenes.
Mm.
So I think this one was more focused. No, probably not. I was going to say more focused on uh, the acting, but yeah, yeah. I do have to say, Seven Samurai is the better of the two, I think. But I'll still watch both of them and enjoy both of them still.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, well, do you have any? Did you have thoughts or anything?
No, just really, just to wrap up, or just to say, I really enjoyed watching the two movies. So that was great that you organised this live stream to talk about them. It got me to rewatch Seven Samurai for the first time in years. I mean, to watch the whole movie. I think I've watched parts of it, but as you know, it's so long that you need to set time apart, don't you, to finish the
Yeah,
movie to watch the whole thing. But yeah, it was so good, man. Really good. Not just for the iconic visuals, but I'd forgotten how good the performances were, especially the drunken, comical actor Toshiro Mifune. He was so good in this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Really,
But
all the
equally,
the
Jacob, I also really enjoyed Magnificent Seven. Again, that's been years because I'd forgotten like half the cast, how iconic this cast is, was so good
yeah,
and great action scenes in it, I thought.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I did too. I like that. I like this. One more thing about the Magnificent Seven. I like the scene where the bandits are riding around the village, jumping over fences. I thought
Mm.
that was a good scene, and the camera was actually moving with them. That thought that was a cool scene.
Oh yeah. When you see there's so many people on horseback and they're really riding those horses, and it just reminds you, doesn't it? Like, I don't know, you don't seem to see that much these days of that in movies, do you? You might get one or two, but have such a group of people riding,
Yeah,
very exciting.
and the scene Steve McQueen on horseback shooting a rifle. I mean, that was actually him doing that. I thought
Mm,
that was cool.
yeah, he was well known, wasn't he, for doing a lot of his own stunts? He was really into that, I
Yeah,
think, the actor.
yeah. He was a race car driver too.
Mm, yeah.
So, well, I had a enjoy. That was a really good. I'm glad you could come on and talk about these movies. Do you have
Mm.
anything coming up that you want to shout out?
Um, Hopefully later on today. So it's going to be late night American time. Going to do a movie review and discussion of the horror movie Hereditary. I don't know if you've seen that from
No.
2018. Very creepy, weird, kind of a little bit surreal horror movie. It was good though.
Hmm, cool. Yeah. Next week is I've kind of changed. I'm opening it the week up more to a guest, so there's more opportunity to have people on. So next week will be Thursday, and I'm going to have Pops and Arkazul on to talk about Jaws.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be a fun one. So that's the 20th. So that'll be a fun one. Well, thank you, chat, for coming and hanging out with us tonight, and I hope y'all had a good time hearing us people talk. But y'all have a good week, and see y'all next time. And I will play the exit. Bye, y'all.